The Pirates won't be back in Bucktober this year, but we are back in the studio talking baseball at 360 Sports. Welcome into the show, everyone. I'm joined with Giustino, Racchini, Anneke, Wagner, Peyton, Waddell. I'm Brennan, Kirkpatrick. Guys, how are you all feeling today? Ready to talk some baseball?
I'm doing great. Today.
That's good to hear. We got a lot to talk about. One of the big things that we are going to be talking about is this wild card race. Of course, it's heating up in both leagues. There are about 4 to 5 teams in each league that are kind of in the mix for the wild card. In the AL, we got the Orioles with first place, the Royals in second, the Twins in third. Watch out for the Tigers, though. They're 1.5 games back. And the Seattle Mariners are very close behind, but they've been slipping a little bit. So what do you guys have to say on how the American League is going to shape up?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to give credit to the Tigers. I mean, this team was sellers at the trade deadline. They traded away Jack Flaherty, Andrew Chafin, Carson Kelly, and Mark Canha. Now look at them. They're only 1.5 game back of the wild card, ahead of the Red Sox. I had to mention that. But Trey Sweeney, he got acquired from that Dodgers trade with Jack Flaherty. He's been solid so far. 224 average, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, and 27 games played. I think he's going to be the shortstop of the future, especially with that Javi Baez contract looking pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers are hot right now, and of course, Skubal, Cy Young season. Only 1.5 games back. I completely believe that they will surpass the Twins. The Twins have the harder schedule going forward. I mean, the Tigers have a little bit of a difficult time, but I think that they'll get in the wild card this season.
Yeah, and another team that we didn't even talk about them, but the Kansas City Royals. I mean, Bobby Witt's had an incredible season, going to be second in MVP voting more than likely. He's been incredible. Obviously, the Orioles have been kind of flip-flopping with the Yankees. I'm sure you're familiar. This flip-flopping back and forth
Sometimes
in
it's
the standings. Yeah. But the Twins, I mean, they have a pretty good roster hitting-wise, but the Tigers definitely, I think, have the pitching advantage with Skubal.
Yeah, the Tigers, they got Skubal. They got a great rotation. Another funny thing about the Tigers, I'm not sure of the exact record, but it's pretty good since Javi Baez has gone on the IL.
Ever since so the
Tigers August 23rd or something.
Yeah, Tigers have the best record since the All-Star break, or August 23rd, whatever. I think Javi Baez got injured on the 22nd, so I don't think it's really that much of a coincidence, but you never know.
It's just a funny thing to point out there. Of course, the Tigers gave Javi Baez that bad contract a couple years ago when he hit the market. But anyways, let's move on to the National League here. So in the National League, the San Diego Padres are in first place, the Diamondbacks in second, Mets in third in the wild card, the Braves right behind. This race is a little more clear-cut, I feel like, than the American League, but let's hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Padres have just really shown, what they're capable of. Their pitching is really good with Michael King and, all their Dylan Cease. They have really good pitching, and their hitting is really good. I mean, Jackson Merrill's having one of the best rookie seasons hitting-wise. It's not even close hitting-wise compared to the American League hitters. Yeah. He's hitting 288 with 28 home runs and 88 RBIs, and, their bullpen's really good. They went on a stretch where they beat the Pirates, I think, 6 out of 7 games. So they really kind of jump-started their season. Luis Ariz has a 14-game hitting streak, 15 maybe.
Yeah, he only has like 3 strikeouts since the All-Star.
He's been incredible. And that team is obviously locked in with the Diamondbacks. I mean, Josh Bell and Jock Peterson have been outstanding. Yeah. Outstanding. Josh Bell hit a ball that was 103 miles per hour off of Aroldis Chapman opposite field. I mean, that you never see that in any, hitter ever. And I think both those teams are really good. I mean, we'd be remiss to talk about the Mets, but the Mets are a team that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, the Braves injuries, it's really gonna, at this time of the year, it's really gonna stack up on them. My personal opinion, this could be a hot take. I don't really know. The Braves would be the best team in baseball, and it wouldn't even be a question if their whole team was healthy.
Strider.
I mean, Strider coming back. Chris Sale. Yeah, Chris Sale winning. He's gonna win Cy Young. Lopez was top 5 in ERA for about 3 months, 3.5 months. Max Fried's been on and off, and let's not forget about the offense where they had Cunha go down, Riley go down, and Ozzie Albies go down. I think this team would be the best team in baseball if it wasn't for those injuries, because Strider and Sale could have been pushing each other for that Cy Young, which is a great problem for the Braves to have.
Yeah, not to mention Michael Harris. I mean, he's back now, but he was also on the 60-day IL for the Braves at one point this season.
Yeah, Sean Murphy battled injuries as well. That team, and Matt Olson had a struggling start, but you can't help injuries.
Their whole team's been hurt,
Injuries it tells you if it's your year or not. But I want to talk about the Diamondbacks. Let's give them some love. Can we talk about Cartel Marte's
Oh, yeah.
postseason stats,
Mhm.
hitting 344 in the postseason. The Diamondbacks are going to be really scary if they stay in their position.
And keeping on the Ketel Marte talk, he has 32 home runs. I didn't even realize how many home runs he had until I looked it up before the show. He's tied for his most since 2019. Like, this guy is literally putting up a career year right now, and his postseason's great. Corbin Carroll is finding his stride as of recently.
Yeah.
The pitching's iffy. I think Montgomery, which in my opinion, Scott Boras, his agent, kind of screwed him up. But him going to the bullpen kind of helped. But, yeah, that offense is clicking right when it needs to be.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's safe to say, Ketel Marte is probably the most underrated player in baseball right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy just doesn't get talked about enough. And, I mean, in 2019, the stats you were mentioning, Waddell, that put him third in the National League MVP voting.
He's going to finish third this year.
He's going to finish third this year. He's just an unbelievable player in the postseason stats, 31 hits, 3 homers. The Diamondbacks feel like a team that if they get into the dance like they did last year, they can make a lot of noise.
Yeah, and they have that confidence as well because they've been there, done that.
Exactly.
Ketel Marte, the second base, the stats he's putting up from second base is just otherworldly.
Yeah. But anyways, let's move on here. Let's talk about some Rookie of the Year conversations. So it's Paul Skeens and Jackson Merrill pretty much in the National League here. Skeens on the pitching side, Merrill on the offensive side. Both players just amazing impacts at the young age. Paul Skeens, for a while there, completely revitalized this Pirates team, and Jackson Merrill has been doing this since day one, since he got called up to the Padres. Has been unbelievable. I want to hear you guys have winning Rookie of the Year.
I'll go first. I mean, I think Paul Skeens in the National League is just easy. When you have a WHIP under 1 and you have almost a sub-2 ERA as a rookie at 10-3, you have to win Rookie of the Year. And he was an All-Star Game starter. I've seen him pitch two times this summer. And both times I saw him pitch, he was insane. I mean, he just lights up the strike zone every single time. And there's been games that we've seen from him, Brennan, as Pirates fans, where he does struggle in the walks department. He does struggle with his command sometimes, where you look at him and you go, maybe don't throw that pitch or don't, he gets into long counts and stuff. But I feel like it is a tight race because Jackson Merrill turned it on defensively and he turned it on offensively. So this is going to be close, but I think Skeens, has to win it.
I'm trying to find a way to give it to Merrill, like not give it to him, but make a case.
Yeah.
He's batting .288, 24 home runs, 86 RBIs. He really stepped up when Tatis got injured.
Oh, yeah.
60-day. But Skeens has a 10-3 record, 2.07 ERA, and 158 strikeouts. This man has, I think, 15 starts. And having 158 strikeouts is insane. So I think you kind of have to give it to Paul Skeens.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I could see it going to Merrill still, but Paul Skeens in his rookie year, a 10-3 record with nearly 2 ERA, you just got to give it to him at that point.
And his offense is subpar.
It's tough to argue with that because he's picked it up as of late too. There's a lot of question marks midway through July and August if he was struggling a little bit, but he's picked it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's the arguments against Skeens is that 1, the team is not great, and 2,
he came in
halfway through the season. Merrill has played 146 games, so 47 games actually this season. I really like Merrill. It's a tough race. I really don't care who wins. I know I'm a Pirates fan, but Jackson Merrill, the wonders he worked on my fantasy baseball team this year, he's a great player. Shout out Jackson Merrill. May the best player win in that Rookie of the Year. We have a little more contested case in the American League, actually. So we got Luis Heel, Austin Wells, 2 Yankees fighting for that. Luis, is it Heel?
Yeah, no. Say the 2 Yankees part again.
Don't say it again. You don't need to.
That made me happy.
Sorry, anything for you, Waddell. And Colton Cowser on the Orioles. There you go, Anneke shouting out the Orioles there. So it's like a 3-headed race here. Who do we think's winning this?
In my opinion, I know if you look at some sites, they have Heel as a favorite, but Austin Wells he's having a .250 average, 13 home runs, 53 RBIs. You got to keep in mind the beginning of the year he played only half the games because of him and Trevino. They viewed him as a platoon player, but ever since Trevino went down, he stepped up and he's been one of the league's best catchers. I'm not saying rookies, I'm saying catchers. Like he's in top 5 in every stat ever since he became an everyday catcher, and his reverse splits are really great. I think he's favored in my opinion.
I mean, I have one word: moo. It's the milkman. You got to give it to Colton Cowser. Did you guys know he just changed his walk-up song to Milkshake?
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I did
I'm
not
sorry.
know
Fun
that.
fact.
There you go.
Did not know
But
that.
his defense is fantastic, especially in the Great Wall of Baltimore. He locks down D. Batting, iffy. I mean, you got to give it to the Oriole over the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, I smell a little bias there, but I mean,
Not at
it's a
all.
three-headed race, so I mean, anyone can get it.
You know,
What do you
No,
have to say?
it's hard. It's hard to say. I mean, I can give it to anybody. I'll just say Heel because he has a 3-point. I mean, it's so hard to say. I mean, I could give it to any three. I mean, I'll give it to Heel just because why not? I mean, anyone can get it.
doesn't Heel have more strikeouts than Skeens this year?
Yeah, 3 more.
Yeah,
he does.
but
3 more?
he also
Yeah,
has-
he's played the
I'm
whole
going
year.
Heel. 3.14 ERA, 1 through 140 and 2/3 innings pitched. That's hard to do as a rookie. I know he's being compared to not compared, but you got Paul Skeens in the other league. But I think he's having a fantastic year,
yeah,
and I
he's
think
having a great year.
Heel's got to be the pick in the
He's
American
also
League.
coming off Tommy John, I believe, which Tommy John surgery,
Exactly.
which
Mhm.
is brutal surgery. So.
But anyways, moving on here, we're going to talk about some milestones being accomplished this season. So Ohtani could become the first player to hit 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases this year. And your boy, Waddell, Aaron Judge, chasing his home run record. He's at 53. There's a little over 10 games left for both of these teams. Do you think that Judge will make will set
Yeah.
his own record?
Me
or
personally, I don't think he
Ohtani
will.
makes history?
Yeah. Well, Tony's definitely going to make history. He's 2 away from both.
He's just been on a great pace.
I don't think Judge will break his own record just because 10 games left. He basically needs a home run in every game. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. If you're a Mets fan, I would pluck your ears real quick. I think Ohtani's going to win MVP over Frankie Lindor. I know Lindor's having a great season, but Ohtani 50-50 year.
Oh, yeah.
He's signed a $700 million contract, which it's tough to go out there and back it up on the field, even though he's special talent, obviously probably the most talented player in all of baseball. But 50-50 is just you don't see that ever. So
Yeah, there was a cloud over Ohtani for this entire season leading up. I think we did a show back in March with the gambling thing that happened back in March and the accusations that were against him. Ohtani, I don't think a lot of people expect him to get close to 50 stolen bases this year. I don't think
those critics.
he definitely did. And I think whenever you look at the Dodgers as a whole, they're basically a super team at this point, just because they've acquired these players that, Ohtani was hurt coming into the season with the elbow injury. But I mean, he's just played better than he has even in the Angels uniform. So last night he hit a ball 420 in the second deck. It was a sinker, low and outside. He mashed his home runs, and he should be able to get it. Yeah.
I think if Ohtani wasn't if he had the same stolen bases as Frankie Lindor,
Yeah.
I think you give it to Frankie. But just because
he means more to the team, Lindor.
defensively,
Yeah.
but just I don't know, he's gonna get 50-50. So
And that's a stat you can't disagree with.
100% getting 50-50.
Yeah.
2 away with both.
Mhm.
Aaron Judge, though, I don't think he breaks his record this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, what he needs.
He needs to be on an
9?
He
insane
needs
pace.
9,
Yeah.
9
Yeah,
to tie.
9 to
10
tie,
games.
10 to get
It's
10.
14,
That's
I don't
like
know.
a home run a game.
Yeah.
which,
I wouldn't be surprised. But
It's Aaron Judge, but regardless, it's still a tough task. Anyways, we're going to be going to the board here now for this next segment. We're going to be talking about surprises around the league. So with every season comes great players, bad players, great teams, bad teams, and a bunch of surprises in between. So we're going to go to the board, starting with Peyton, then Giustino, Anneke, and I will go last. And we're going to talk about a player or a team who surprised you the most in a good way, and a player who surprised you or a team that surprised you the most in a bad way. So Peyton, you're up first. Take us away.
Yeah, let's see what this guy has to say. I wouldn't bet. I
wonder-
wouldn't. There'd probably be a Yankee.
How many
on here.
Yankees are on
Yeah,
this
yeah.
board
Let's take
here?
it.
I will not pick a Yankee, but I will stay in the state of New York. Gonna have to wait a little bit. Right there, Mark Vientos. This guy has been the Mets struck gold with this guy. He's batting .266, 16 home runs, 40 RBIs. I think I remember that correctly. He's playing third base for a team he's one of the reasons why this team's in postseason contention right now. He's playing out of his mind. I don't know if he's a rookie, but he's very young.
I think it's his third year.
Third
Yeah,
year, yeah.
third
So
year,
he's
yeah.
having a great season for the Mets, and he's one of the reasons why they're going to make the playoffs this year. And for my disappointment, I have to go with the Seattle Mariners. I mean, as a Yankees fan, you hate the Astros, and the Mariners had a 10-game lead on the Astros, and I think June, and they squandered that 10-game lead, and now they're like 4 games behind. It's wild. They were buyers at the deadline. They got Randy Arozarena. They got Justin Turner. And their pitching staff is otherworldly. They have every pitcher, I think, has a sub-3.5 ERA, or at least 4 of the 5 do. So this team has been a very disappointing team so far. So
I like those picks. I mean, I think the Mariners pick is also surprising whenever you think about that, just because they were projected to probably win that division, not handedly, but they were probably projected to.
Mid-June.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had the good chance.
That
They had
offense just
good pitching, and then
never turned it
Vientos.
on.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go to my players now. The first player I have is on a team that I'm not really a big fan of in the Milwaukee Brewers, but this guy has been leading the charge. Willy Adames. He's having his career season this year for the Milwaukee Brewers. 32 home runs, 109 RBIs this season for Willie. And I think the Brewers really needed him to step up. Christian Yelich went down with injury, and Christian Yelich is an all-star caliber player. And they needed him to really be that guy and be that spark plug for the rest of the team. And I think he's been that and more. So I think this postseason, you're going to have to see, can he take the next step forward and help lead them deep into the postseason, because they haven't been good in the postseason for years. So I think that's a key for Willy Adames and the Brewers. And now to my disappointing team. And this team was in the World Series last year, won the World Series, the Texas Rangers, and they have a lot of injury problems. I think that's also one of the problems. Corey Seager's been out for the last couple of weeks. He had a really good year. Now that he's out, I think they really their season's been on a damper. Their pitching has been really bad. I mean, when you look at their pitching, Nathan Eovaldi is their best pitcher this season, and he has like barely a sub 4 ERA, like at 11-8, I believe, at his win-loss record. So the Rangers are such a disappointment. Max Scherzer's been a disappointment in this picture. I mean, he can't stay on the field. I mean, he's been hurt so many times, and Wyatt Langford was a player that I thought would have a good year this year. He's been all right, but I mean, this team just really, just like kind of like the Mariners in your pick. They just kind of disappointed, and people thought they'd be better and they weren't. So,
yeah. Willy Adames is batting .250, 32 home runs, and 109 RBIs from a shortstop. That's just that's insane. And the two teams we mentioned were AL West, and that's why the Astros were able to go into the playoffs, which really makes me mad. But
the AL West has had random they've had so many teams go to the World Series.
The Rangers just battled injuries too, and I mean championship hangover, I guess. In this case, it's a real thing.
It makes sense, yeah.
They won. They're resting.
They won. Yeah, that's right. Anyways, Anneke.
Yeah.
Surprise teams, players, etc.
This is going to get a little repetitive, but the team that surprised me in a good way, or the player, was Paul Skeens. I mean, we said it already but a 2.07 ERA, 10-3 record in his first season, half a season. I mean, straight out of college, we knew he was a beast in college, but to transfer that into the pros, into the majors, that's just crazy to me. And then a team that was disappointing. It breaks my heart to say, but it's the Orioles. I hate to say it, but this team won 101 games last season. They are probably not going to win 90 this year. They have battled the injury bug a lot this season. I mean, you can make a team with all the players they have on the IL. And, of course, Felix Bautista, all-star closer. It's just really tough. It's been a tough year. I mean, I still think they make the playoffs, but, I mean, they might get swept again, just to be honest. And they could not make it because they're only 4 games up. It's just a sad sight in Baltimore.
And it went dark real quick on the Orioles.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had – I feel like having this type of season is better for the playoffs if they do make it because it's adversity.
That's true. I like teams that come in as wild cards better.
Yeah.
They have better records than the teams that get the bye.
And wild card teams like the D-backs, Phillies, both made the World Series in the NL with the wild card. Rangers were a wild card, won the World Series. So the wild card seems to just work.
Yeah, and real quick, they don't have that week off. I mention all the time, you can't take a week off in baseball and expect to be
That's true.
same.
Yeah. Week off is a lot.
No, I mean, I had the Orioles in my World Series at preseason predictions. Hopefully they still live up to that. But I'm going to go to the board here. I kind of did with
Uh-oh.
like a reverse of what you guys did. I did a surprising good team and a surprising bad player. So I think it's going to be the surprising good team first. It's my surprising bad player. All right. Well, there it is. Good team. Detroit Tigers. Wow, what a season they've had. What a turnaround. 1.5 games back of the wild card. We talked about their record since Javier Baez went on the IR. Not saying that had anything to do with it. But maybe. Tariq Skubal, Cy Young candidate. Reese Olson, a great number 2 in that rotation. You got Riley Green playing well. I mean, this team, there's not a lot of like great players, but something's working. AJ Hinch, he's still their manager.
Yeah,
right?
AJ Hinch.
Yeah, he's a proven winner. He won in Houston, won everywhere he went. Detroit, the vibes are great right now, competing for a wild card spot. And then the surprising bad player we saw on the screen earlier, Clay Holmes. What happened to this guy, Waddell? I mean,
oh man, the former Pirate.
The former Pirate just did not have a great second half of the year. What was it 12 blown saves? His ERA's bloomed up to 3.24 or something like that. Just not great. I mean, I had him on my fantasy baseball team too. I had to drop him because he was just blowing games left and right. He's putting up like -9 points a night as a closer who pitched 1 inning. But who's the guy that they got to replace him?
Luke Weaver.
Luke Weaver's been terrific, so the Yankees aren't missing a beat without him. But Clay Holmes, he had a great year last year. Thought he could continue that, and he just hasn't been able to in the second half of the season. Very disappointing from the former Pirate, Clay Holmes. But yeah,
as a
I
Pirate,
think you can track all of Brennan's picks back to fantasy baseball.
I am really upset about fantasy baseball, and I'm just trying to get it all out right now. Lost in the divisional round. It was not great.
Jack Wilder said, "Great show."
Oh, thanks, Jack.
Thank you,
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. Anyways, we're going to go to our next segment here, pressing playoff questions. So there are a couple questions here, a little bit like that need answered. So we're going to go to the first one here. And the question is, what league is more dangerous as a whole, the American League or the National League?
Listen, I was going back and forth on this a little bit because I feel like the American League has a lot more stronger offensive teams. But then when you look at the whole picture, both leagues are having off years. When you look at it, no team's going to hit 100 wins. The Phillies are the only team that might even get close, and they're probably going to have 95 wins, or around there. So I think, in my opinion, I'm going to go, my criteria is for postseason play. I'm going to go National League because I feel like the National League has been stronger as a whole. When it gets to the postseason in the last couple of years, they've had stronger teams, stronger performances. I just feel like the National League is a stronger league in general. I know 2 American League fans over here, but
I'm actually going to say the National League.
Okay.
Yeah, because outside of the Yankees, Orioles are having a great year, and I guess the Astros always give fits to most teams. They won a World Series a couple of years ago. The Phillies have a great lineup, great pitching. I've highlighted their pitching staff in this one article that I wrote. Their rotation they have a sub 3.5 ERA. Hopefully they have a sub 5 ERA. The Dodgers, 3 MVPs at the top of their lineup, great rotation. Even though they're losing Tyler Glasnow, but they're getting Automoto back.
yeah,
And the Padres are great. That bullpen is amazing.
Padres are a
And
dangerous team.
the Mets are clicking, so I got the National League in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I kept going back and forth on this one too, but I ended up on the National League as well, just because of the Phillies have a great team all around, pitching rotation as well. The Diamondbacks have great players, postseason offense, and I mean, the Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani, who makes magic everywhere he goes.
That might be like the big factor because he was in the American League last year.
Yeah.
And now it's like when you have a superstar added to a superstar team, kind of how it works.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the National League. I think it's just a more competitive league this year. But yeah, so National League, we all agree on that. Next question here. The Phillies, they have the most wins in Major League Baseball right now with 91. But are they the best team in the league right now?
No. They're not the best team going into the postseason. I know Nick's over there. He's shaking his head. I mean, listen, I talked about how good the National League is, and that's why the Phillies are in trouble because the Padres and Diamondbacks, they're on the up and coming. They're going to be there soon. And I think both teams win their wild card matchups. I talked about the Brewers and Willie Adames. I don't think they win a series. They're not particularly strong, but I feel like whoever comes out, the Padres or D-backs, whichever team wins that wild card series is going to go to the World Series. Mm-hmm. They both have incredible offenses. I mean, I feel like the Padres I trust more pitching wise, but I mean, in the whole Major League Baseball, I can't say the Phillies are conclusively better because there's no way they are.
Yeah. I'm going to say no as well, although I feel like most teams match up well against the Phillies. Their rotation's obviously, in my opinion, going to be the best in playoffs, either them or the Royals, I think, have a great rotation.
Royals have a good rotation,
but their lineup, like Kyle Schwarber, we all know his deal with the leadoff hitter, either strikeout, walk, or homers, which, I mean, it's pretty much all you need to do, but he's batting I think 232. I don't know.
He's having a good year.
He's having a great year. But Harper, obviously, and Trey Turner. But other than that, they need Real Muto and Castellanos especially to step up. If those two players don't step up and support those three, it's going to be tough for the Phillies to go far.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say the Phillies as well. I have a pretty hot take right here. I really like the Tigers coming into the postseason. If they make it in, I heard Nick just scoff at me. I did hear that. They have a deadly pitching line rotation. Skubal, and then obviously their relievers and their closer, Jason Foley, is amazing. And then Riley Green's having a great season.
Yeah. They're gonna have all the confidence in the world.
For sure.
Just got to make the dance.
They got hot at the right time.
Just keep Baez on the IL. That's probably all they need to do.
That's all they need to do.
I think he had hip surgery, so I don't think he's coming back anytime soon.
I also said no. I think the Yankees are better. I think the Dodgers right now are probably better than the Astros. But you said the Tigers are playing with a lot of confidence right now. So they're definitely not the best team going into this. But anyways, let's move on to the final pressing question we have here. Who has the best manager among all of these playoff squads right now? They put Aaron Boone up there, I'm sure.
I can promise you,
on that.
He is not the best manager going in the playoff baseball. But I have Mike Schilt. He's a Padres manager. He came in, let me see, he came in November 21st of last year. And one of his first moves he made was trading Juan Soto. And you're like, how is he a great manager? He traded Juan Soto, got a lot of great players in that trade. Michael King especially. Kyle Gashioka, who's having a career year, even though it's not that great, it's still a career year. And then he traded some of those players to get Dylan Cease. He's put this team in a great position, and the moves he made at the trade deadline were also good. So I think he's the best manager going into the postseason.
Yeah, I really wanted to give it to the last year's AL Manager of the Year, Brandon Hyde. He, has been a great skipper for the Orioles, but I also ended up going with Schilt. I'm sorry, I just can't pronounce names because of the same reasons. I'm
going to go with a manager that isn't a popular manager. He's a manager of a hated team, but Dave Roberts going into the postseason, in my opinion, has the best chance and has been managing well this season to take them to the next level. That pitching staff is very good. Dave Roberts now this year has no excuses. He's had a lot of young pitchers in the past. I looked it up. They had Tony Gosselin, they had Bryce Miller. They've had a lot of young pitchers play postseason games. And the other thing that kind of works in his favor is Kershaw won't be a starting pitcher in the postseason, which kind of works because when Kershaw is a starting pitcher in the postseason, the Dodgers don't do well. They haven't done well when Kershaw started in the postseason besides the COVID year. But Dave Roberts comes in with AJ Hinch too for the Tigers is another one. If they make it, would be a good, but they're not in the playoffs right now. So I went with Roberts.
All right. I went with Pat Murphy, the Milwaukee Brewers, the first manager to lead his team to clinch the playoffs, actually. Given the start of the season, the Brewers, everyone was projecting them to have, they're washed. They're not going to be anything. And he's just turned this team into what they are every year. Freddie Peralta is their number one starter, and they're winning the National League Central. Jared Koenig and Oli Paredes out of the bullpen, McGill and Williams locking it down. This team, with only three real hitters too, William Contreras, Willie Adames, as you mentioned, and Jackson Chorio right now. I know Yelich is hurt, so not counting him in this.
Throw in Joey Ortiz.
Throw in Joey Ortiz too.
Ortiz is good.
Oriole.
Pat Murphy, I think, is the best manager, managerial wise. No, he doesn't have the success as others, but I think right now he's the best.
We mentioned Joey Ortiz. The reason they got him is because they traded away Corbin Burns, and he was supposed to be one of the Cy Young favorites this year. But he's doing a great job.
All right. Anyways, we got one more segment left on the show. It is Clubhouse Leaders. So we're going to test our baseball knowledge here. And we're going to ask some questions about who leads their baseball clubs in these specific stats. So without further ado, let's get right into this. Who leads the White Sox in batting average? Now, is this all time or is this
This
currently?
is this season.
Southpaw.
I think it's this season, right?
Is this season?
If it's this season, it's Southpaw.
Southpaw.
I think it's Southpaw.
Yeah.
This season? All right. So
Yeah, it's probably this season.
All right, then we'll go with Southpaw.
We'll go with Southpaw.
It's probably correct.
Nicky Lopez. I was going to say Benintendi at first, but then I realized probably not. But I mean, Nicky Lopez.
Just a bad team.
But
Twins and RBIs. Is that Correa?
it's either him or
I
it's
don't
not
think-
Royce
I
Lewis.
don't
He's
think
been
Lewis
hurt.
is-
He's been hurt. So
Is it Santana?
no,
No, he's
No.
like 46.
no, it can't be
Oh.
Santana.
I looked that up.
It's either Correa or Jose Miranda.
I think we play safe here and go.
I think
Correa.
we can go Correa, but if I'm
Correa's
right,
a safer
I'd be-
bet here. Did we see that?
It
It is
was
Correa.
Santana.
I thought he had like 40.
And this is the person
That's
that
just
picked him
not-
up in fantasy baseball. So that's pretty bad.
White Sox and or Red Sox. Sorry, and home runs. Don't want to compare the White Sox and the Red Sox here.
Do you think it's Devers?
Is it?
Is it Devers?
It's
No,
either-
I think it's Tyler O'Neill.
Oh wait,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, it is.
Tyler
Yeah,
O'Neill.
yeah.
Tyler O'Neill. Yep,
Yep,
there it is.
there it is.
31 home runs
All
and
right,
like
and I
60
believe we
RBIs.
have one more question here. Phillies and stolen bases.
Is it Clemens? I'm trying to
It's
think
either
of
him or
people that were
Ro-
on.
maybe Rojas, because Rojas. Nick's trying to give us signals.
Come
over
on,
there.
Come on, Cassie.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Dude, Waddell.
Just show up.
Rojas.
That's like
Rojas?
that's some tough stats.
Yeah.
I guess you can go Rojas, but I
Rojas.
know that's not right from what I looked over there. But I want to see who it is.
Stock.
Stop.
All right. Okay.
I guess he's been turning it on lately. I guess yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it from us today. Thank you all for watching. We got this amazing crew for a Frenzy show tomorrow, so make sure you tune in to that as well.
That's a wild crew.
It's a great
That's a
crew.
wild crew.
But thank you all for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.